Kendra here again. I'm going to do this video today to kind of help you guys out on, I believe it's 8-6 that we're going to be working on this week. And the section is called Choose Appropriate Statistical Measures. We did start this in class before the school closure, but we didn't get that far into it. So I am asking you guys on your lesson plans that you guys go into the Pearson website, check out the virtual nerd videos, do the example and try-its that are on there so that they can help you take notes, okay? Make sure you have a piece of paper out or a notebook and that you're taking notes so that you can really be prepared because you guys are going to be taking your Chapter 8 test this week, okay? All right. Don't stress out about it. It's going to be fine. Whatever grade you get, if there's something that I see you guys need help on, I will help you on an individual basis. Again, don't stress out about it, just do your best. But I'm hoping that these videos, and especially this one today, will help you guys get through the 8-6 homework that you are going to be doing online, okay? All right. The information that I'm going to go over here does have to do with, you know, finding measures of center, and this is going to be choosing the appropriate statistical measure, which has to do with the 8-6. So that's why I have all the information here. I am, just so you guys know, this here is basically 8-6, and I am using the key concepts that we had in your textbook in order to, I'm using that key concept so I can give you kind of a brief little overview of what the chapter is, or sorry, the section, okay? All right, so let's get started. I don't want to waste any more time. So when you choose an appropriate statistical measure, what you're going to do is you're going to look for what is the best center of measure of center. These are your measures of center, okay? Range, not so much, but it just happens to be on this anchor chart, and I didn't want to erase it or take it off. Mean, median, and mode are your measures of center. They're going to ask you, what is the best measure of center? They're asking you mean, median, or mode. Very simple. Don't make it harder than what it needs to be. If you notice that your data, okay, if they give you a data set and you make a dot plot, which you should in order to be able to really see how the data is represented, if you see that it's all kind of clustered together and you have no outliers, so just like it says here, you would choose the mean. Mean is a good choice when data are clustered together. So when they ask you what is a good appropriate measure of center, if your data is nicely clustered in one area, you will use the mean. No outliers. I wrote that on there because that's an important piece of information that you need to know. If there are no outliers, most likely you're going to use your mean, okay? And your mean, of course, means the average. Then they're going to ask you, can you describe the variability? That is when you use either the MAD or the interquartile range or something else. In this case, if you decide that mean is the best measure of center, because your data is nice and clustered and there's no outliers, then you're going to use the MAD to describe the variability, okay? So again, they may ask you, what is the best measure of center? Because your data looks like this, you're going to say it's the mean because there are no outliers. Then they might ask you, what is the best what is the best, or how best do you describe the variability? If you get mean, then you get MAD. That's kind of a fun little way to memorize it so that you can kind of be more clear when you're choosing which one. If you get mean, then you get MAD. MAD, of course, refers to mean absolute deviation. So that's why I have this chart here to remind you guys of the mean absolute deviation, okay? There is a separate video that I have on my channel, so if you don't remember how to do this, there is a separate video you can watch on your own after this one, okay? But just so you remember, if you chose the mean, you get MAD, okay? And that's what you would say for your answers in your homework assignment. Okay, second one. Nice and super and easy. Let's say there is an outlier. If there is, most likely you're going to choose the median. The median is a good choice when data has an outlier. Okay? So if there is an outlier and you see that your data is kind of clustered but does have an outlier on either side, it doesn't matter which side, you would choose the median. if you do choose the median, like it says, when you use the median, the interquartile range, or the IQR, is a good choice to describe the variability, right? Now, I did not make a video about interquartile range, but in the Pearson online, there is a video, I believe it might even be in this section or in 8-5, that talks about interquartile range. That video is very good. I didn't feel like I needed to make another video because that one explained it very clearly. So if you need to, please go on your Pearson website to find out how to do the interquartile range, okay? But anyways, if you have an outlier for your data set and you think the median is the best measure of center, then in order to describe variability, you use the IQR, okay, the interquartile range. Now, let's say you have, for example, just a data set that has just names. Maybe somebody went around and interviewed a bunch of people and collected data on what are the names of your children, okay? And so you have all these different names and they come up more than once or not more than once. If you have, for example, a data set that is not numerical, okay, so that means not numbers. Maybe, like I said, you went out and you interviewed people to find out their children's names or their pet names. That's not numbers, right? You're just writing down a bunch of names. So if that is your data set, then the mode is the one you would use to describe that measure of center, okay? So you would use the mode. Is a good choice to describe the center of data, measure of center, set, if the data is not numerical or does not fall in intervals. So maybe the data is so very, has a lot of variety and it's very kind of scattered and doesn't make very much sense and you can't put it in intervals, then your mode is going to be the best measure of center, okay? That's pretty much it, you guys. So I hope I kind of helped you out. I hope you can clearly see the anchor charts that I have here. Again, if you're not quite sure about mean, median, mode, and range, there's a separate video you can watch. If you don't quite remember absolute deviation and the mean absolute deviation, there's a separate video for that. This one was just to kind of help you guys out with 8-6, okay? All right, guys. If you have any questions, like always, just make sure you email me or send me a remind. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. If there's a lot of questions on one certain thing, I'll try my best to do another video to help you guys all out, okay? All right, guys. Have a good day. Thank you.